to the EpicVerse Podcast, where curiosities and theories run wild about the strange and spectacular and everything in between. And now, your hosts, JosiahRises, Benjamin, and Epic Mike.
What is up, everyone? I am back, Josiah, and I am with my pals, my good friends, Michael and Benjamin, and we are here to talk. Well, I was trying to think of like your internet name, but you don't have one.
Desert Shark,
I was like,
Benjamin.
Desert Shark, aka
Desert Shark, the name that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't had a chance to go anywhere.
I really hate that name so much.
Well, is that going to be your pen name?
No,
You should make that your pen name.
We'll call him
It'd be
B
so
Shark.
cringe.
Absolutely not.
It'd be so
B-Shark.
freaking cringe.
Oh.
D Shark.
Beat Shark.
I'm just gonna release
B-Shark.
books under the code name Desert Shark.
Dude, you could create, like, it could be, I don't know, I mean, technically it wouldn't be like a fursona because sharks aren't furry, but you could have like a shark head, and you could have like,
Wow,
you could look like a Shark King or whatever
dude, that's
he's called.
what I should do. That's how I
Yeah,
should.
King Shark,
That's what
yeah.
I should
King
do
Shark,
if I
yeah.
eventually stream. Is just wear an inflatable shark head or something.
Yes, dude. There you
People
go.
would love that.
They would, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
gotta-
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can't deny that people probably wouldn't enjoy watching that.
I mean, I know I
I
would.
have no idea.
All right,
I
well, we know Josiah would be my
all
viewer.
about that. I'd be all
Yeah.
about the shark-headed prince.
There we go. Animal
Well.
mask, fish costume, mascot, and album.
What?
Or I could just stream in one of those inflatable shark costumes.
Just get like a
Ben's
shark
already-
onesie, and then you could have like a shark head on your top of your head, and you'll be all set.
Love it.
That's your
Or-
persona is a shark.
Yeah. Or just skip the onesie and just not wear anything,
And,
and just have
the
a shark head on. Yeah.
Definitely
Oh,
sells.
You could like
Yeah.
paint your body like grayish, sort of, or something, or
Yeah.
depending on what
That's-
kind of shark you want it to be. You know.
I'm going to
That's
save
true,
this. I'm
yeah.
going to send this to you guys now. No?
Oh no. So, yeah, we're already off to a great start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the EpicVerse Podcast. And yeah, we're all here. It's raining outside like crazy.
Yeah.
I got my toasty little coffee here, and we're gonna be jumping to some crazy stuff for you guys. So, hopefully, you guys are looking forward to that.
We like crazy things here.
We do,
EpicVerse.
especially when it comes to sharks and whale penises. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
that's like top
Can't
of the list, to be honest.
get enough.
Can't be
I
any
mean,
better than that.
You guys said that. That's
Yeah. Well, Josiah and I stand by it.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly. That's exactly what Ben should look like, Mike.
Hold on. Now I got to take a look at it.
I just sent Ben a shark furry shark art, persona shark art.
Amazing.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, for
I'm
some
gonna
reason I
write
was
it-
thinking of like the fish guy from Megamind.
I'm
for
going to
second
write
there.
a character designed like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go, Ben. Just embrace the cringe and become Shark Boy, and you'll be all set.
Shark Boy.
Ooh, ha, ha, shark boy.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl, that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
It's true.
That was
yeah.
that was definitely a thing.
They had a
Here we
kid
go. I found it.
and did a whole sequel to that movie
Yeah.
that didn't need to be made.
Yeah, didn't they do like a show or something based off of that too?
I don't know if
something
there was
like
a
that.
show, but I know there was the movie We Can Be Heroes.
Yeah. That's
The
that
only
must be
reason
what
I
I'm
know
thinking
about
of.
that
Yeah.
is because my kids made me watch it.
Yeah, my daughter freaking loves that movie, so yeah.
This is what I actually need right here.
And she hasn't even seen original Shark Boy and Lava Girl,
Oh, okay. Then
so-
she has no reason.
Neither have my kids, and that's
What?
what's weird. Like you
Yeah.
don't even know who these people are. You don't even know
Yeah.
why you should like them.
You don't know the lore,
Yeah.
kids.
You don't know the
Freaking
Shark
kids.
Boy Lava Girl lore.
Just bandwagoners, that's all they are.
Yep. Freaking casuals.
Not actual fans. Jeez.
Yeah.
Ben, I actually have a shark hat that I bought you.
What?
Oh, see, there you go.
I actually do. Somewhere I do have like a shark hat that I bought you at one point.
We've just created the origin of my streaming. If I ever can get that up and running, I will wear a shark hat and my name will be Desert Shark.
Nope, I don't agree with that.
I love that.
But yeah, sure.
You should make it your pen name too, Ben.
Yeah.
For people that are listening, Ben is actually working on a book right now. So
Yeah.
Darn right. Darn tootin'.
And
Do you want to give a little like spiel about that, like what it's about and stuff, or?
No.
Well, there
All
you
right.
go.
It's a mystery.
That's the plug right there.
Great marketing. Ben's really good at that.
I'll just tell you what it is. It's a young adult science fiction dystopian novel, based in a futuristic version of Earth, where get this, sneezes are deadly. That's all. I'll leave you with that. Sounds intriguing. Yeah, and classic dystopian fare, overarching government. People who rebel, classic stuff.
Dystopian sneezes.
It's what you're here for. It's called Dystopian Sneezes. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what it's called. But it's a passion project of mine. So yeah.
So we'll keep you guys updated on that when Ben gets closer to being done with all of that. So Speaking of sharks and shark boys and
marine animals,
shark-headed princes and everything else, we have some, well, not really shark stuff, but some.
Wow, you really buried the lead there.
We have some sea beasties to talk about.
You could have just been like, well, crazy thing about sharks is, here in the Great Lakes, we don't have them.
Sharks aren't real.
We do have in the Great Lakes?
Yeah, but I love
sea
sharks.
monsters.
Allegedly.
No, they're real. Let's not.
Oh, yeah? Well, tell us about that, Mike.
Are they, Mike?
All right. I'm going to tell you about
Tell
this.
us about
I've had
these
this saved
beasties.
for a long time on my computer.
He's been waiting
I've learned
for this.
about this. I've been waiting for this for a while. The translation, because American English is dumb, is the underwater panther.
Underwater panther.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's called Mishu Peshu
Okay.
in Ojibwe, and it's one of the most important of several mythological water beings among many indigenous people of the Northwest woodlands and Great Lake regions.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it translates. The better translation is the Great Lynx, but we call it the underwater panther instead for some reason. Well, it has the head and paws of a giant cat, but is covered in scales and has dagger-like spikes running along its back and tail. Apparently, the Native Americans claim that they ran into this in multiple different areas in the Great Lakes. Different tribes have said that they ran into this thing and have hunted this thing and tried to capture it. The first image I saw of this was actually on a it was like a wood carving that somebody had made of it. But yeah, there's cave
you
drawings
personally saw it?
No.
Oh, okay. You just saw it okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it popped up. No, I wish I had personally seen it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, let me see here. Apparently these things are supposed to live in opposition to thunderbirds, which the thunderbird is also deep lore. A lot of people think that could have been a living pterodactyl or something.
Right.
We've talked about that in some earlier episodes and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me see here. I want to find where they first found it.
Well, there's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, there's this painting of a canoe next to this beast or whatever and stuff. So
absolutely.
So I mean if it's the underwater panther, then it's possible that it's more of a dinosaur type creature or something than an actual cat creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just the translation somehow. I don't know. Kind of translated that differently or whatever. So from panther and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's so on this painting, there's a canoe, and then there's this creature with spikes on its back, and then there's two serpents, giant snakes.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this you're looking at?
Can
you?
It's one of the links that we sent to the chat.
Just a second. Let me pull it up here.
But yeah. So, is there any more info on that, Mike?
This was the only real story. This page here, there's a bunch of. I have a couple of tabs open right now about this, but so there are a few stories of the encounter with this great beast. One of them, which is the more well-known one, is a Jesuit missionary named Claude Dablon. He told a story about 4 Ojibwe people who embarked on a journey to the home of this creature, because apparently it lived near a copper mine,
Okay.
or something like that. And so the people thought that, the copper is it's like belongs to it, and if we take it, we're stealing it. I don't know. But apparently they went to this copper mine to take some copper, bring it home to use it to heat water. Because I don't know how many people know stuff like that, but that was like a thing, you like put like hot metal into like a bath to heat the water and stuff.
Right.
The very second they pushed off and backed into the water with their canoe, apparently, according to the story, the eerie voice of the water panther surrounded them, came growling after them, accused them of stealing the playthings of his children, and all 4 people died on the way back to their village, but the last surviving member lived just long enough to tell the tale of what happened. But according to this Claude de Blonde, that's what happened. And he wrote that in his diaries that he was like, hey, there's a lot of copper over here, but apparently also if you try to take it from the wrong places, you can also get killed by this water panther creature.
Which is kind of interesting because immediately I started thinking about like the European dragons and with their treasure and stuff. And all the stories about that, about like, if you take treasure from one of these dragons, then they get super ticked off and stuff. So it kind of has similarities to that, which is interesting.
No,
absolutely.
I find it really interesting that it's the story is from the Great Lakes region. I think that's fascinating.
We do have a lot of copper, so
Exactly.
Apparently, so this is what's weird about the Great Lakes. So we have, the water panther stories.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we also have our own, and the name is a little suspect. No, Bessie.
Oh, Bessie.
Apparently,
huh?
Lake Erie, the name of the sea monster in Lake Erie that people have seen, called Bessie.
Bessie, huh?
And that sounds a little like Bussy, which is, not what we want to talk about. Apparently, Bessie has been talked about since the late 1700s. And then that was where people first started reporting it, and then didn't appear again, or didn't get like regular appearances, and people didn't start hearing about it a lot more until the 1980s. But the description have almost always been the same. About a 20-foot long serpent with appendages that resemble arms.
Mm-hmm. So what I find interesting about that is apparently people who have supposedly seen Nessie or things like that have mistaken what scientists believe to be whale penises, right? As Nessie.
Yeah.
Well,
so my question is...
sea serpents, yeah.
Yeah, right. So in the Great Lakes, though, there are no whales.
No?
Whales are seawater, saltwater creatures.
Yeah.
Not freshwater creatures. So... what about the sightings in the Great Lakes?
Yeah,
those can't be whale penises. So
true.
It's a really good question.
That's a real good point.
That's the real question. Because sure, you could say that Nessie or whatever sea monsters are whale penises or whatever, but Great Lakes are different. Even technically, Loch Ness is different because it's a lake. So
well, true. And we do have. For people that don't live in the Great Lakes or don't know much about the Great Lakes, we do have something of a sea monster here that has been proven, which are the sturgeons, because the sturgeons can get up to...
sturgeon are like prehistoric fish. Like they're like dinosaurs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They're massive. I mean,
they can really get the largest one caught, I think was in Canada. And I want to say it was like 25 feet long. Hold on. Sturgeon... ever caught. It was caught in a river. Like this thing was literally found in a river.
Which is freaking crazy.
468 pound white sturgeon.
Holy cow. Jeez. That's insane.
And apparently
thing's freaking huge.
They also have a different type of sturgeon called the beluga sturgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love
really
sturgeons
big too. But
they're fascinating fish.
So what my thought sometimes is like if you listen to the description, like sturgeon can be really long. They have spines all along their back and stuff. Then you go, okay, well maybe they saw a sturgeon. The thing is, sturgeon don't move like sea serpents and stuff, and they're not like aggressive creatures. But a lot of these stories have been that people were attacked by these things.
Sturgeons are also like bottom feeders. I mean, they normally like sit on the bottom of rivers. They don't they'll swim upstream for certain things, but they're not like crazy in their movement.
They're not out in the middle of lakes doing stuff. Yeah.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently the paintings that we were looking at with the sea serpents and the canoe are over 500 years old too.
Oh wow. That's really not that old.
Yeah.
Really.
You said
500?
It's
not that long ago. So
no, it's not.
That's
what's
not
weird.
long ago at all.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's another place in Saginaw Bay. There's a wow, these names are awful. In Saginaw Bay, there's a report of a creature called Saggy.
Oh no.
It's the least well known apparently, and the stories are apparently the tamest, they say. But they describe Saggy as a long, dark sea serpent who merely comes up from the murky depths, nudges boats enough to knock things around a bit. And some think it may be a really old lake sturgeon or a muskie who likes to rub its back on boats, but according to people, it's really big when they have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, but like technically, I think the sturgeon is not a bad, not necessarily a bad guess though, because I think the largest one ever caught, I think I just looked it up, is like 25 and a half feet long. So like that's big. That's a big
25 feet long.
25 and a half feet long. For a river, that's a river fish.
Yeah.
These things are actual dinosaurs. Like they're really freaking cool.
Yeah.
They are really cool.
Now, I want to keep talking about this, but I want to stop for a second.
Okay.
And I want to acknowledge or discuss something. Why are the names of these creatures
so bad?
Saggy?
Because us
Bessie?
Midwesterners don't know how to name things.
Apparently.
I
get that people like in Loch Ness, they're like Nessie. Okay, Loch Ness.
Right.
Nessie, sure, whatever. Then they're like, you know what? Bessie.
You would
Bessie,
think.
Saggy.
Well, you would think, right? Since, you said it was 500 years ago?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, probably a lot more Native Americans in the area that time period, right? Unless my math is completely wrong.
No, you're
so
correct, yeah.
You would think that that these monsters would have more Native American names, kind of like a lot of the towns and cities and things like that in our area.
Right.
You would think that, but these seem to me like names that people came up with years later that are just really bad.
Yeah. Well, and this is what's weird about specifically, because obviously Bessie is a terrible name, but Bessie is a thing in Lake Erie. But the descriptions of Bessie are like a 20 foot long like sea serpent creature with a dog shaped head and a pointy tail.
That sounds just like a sturgeon.
Very much like a sturgeon.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the Great Lynx that we talked about, that the Ojibwe have talked about, they have not described it like that at all. They said it almost has horns on it and it has like cat-like features and stuff. That's what's interesting to me is like the pictures and stuff are not of like a regular traditional sea serpent. They're a little bit more like sinister and a little bit like more dangerous, and you kind of wonder, okay, well, what could that be then? Because that sounds very different,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, even just like looking at the paint, like the cave painting here or whatever it is, like the painting, it definitely like it has like legs and feet too, which is weird.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not. It doesn't look like a fish at all.
No.
So. Yeah.
That's what's really weird is that when you start looking into that specific creature.
And then you talk about this guy that was the last survivor.
Like
the last survivor, and the last thing he was telling them was the story about like the water panther that was guarding the copper or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, why would that be the last thing that he would talk about before he died and stuff? If it if it didn't have some validity, unless they were just going crazy or something, which could be a possibility.
Could be a possibility.
But,
I mean, freaking Christopher Columbus, screwed manatees because he and his crew were crazy. So
we knew that he was up to a lot of things.
So
we knew he was up to some weird stuff, man.
I
mean, and that's the thing. They didn't say that they tried to have sex with the thing. They just said that.
Yeah.
It was a mermaid. It was a mermaid, guys. I swear.
Yeah, because that would have been the part that would have been weird. They're like, man, I tried to have sex with this fish, and it was like a panther.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Starts
just
to make
dabbling.
What is
That
interesting
Bessie
though,
name starts to make more sense after.
Bessie.
what is
Bessie.
interesting with the water panther though is that from these drawings it looks a lot like a cat, right?
Yeah.
Like it does look like a cat, and technically cats do swim, like big cats. Big cats can swim if they have to. So I mean, could they have just seen like a big cat or something, like
a big cat with spikes on its back?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Weird evolutionary cat. I don't know. I don't freaking know. Maybe the cat evolved into like some crazy monster or something. Or maybe I was going to say scientists did experiments with that wouldn't make any sense because this was like years ago.
Well, that's why I'm wondering, because like, you know, they have like Thunderbird and stuff as well, which, you know, if it is based on a dinosaur, it's not actually like a bird type thing. It's like its own type of creature. But that was the only thing that they could really, you know, use to describe it was, it's like a bird because it's flying or whatever and stuff. Right. So maybe they were just, you know, maybe they didn't really have a way to explain what kind of a creature it was. So they were just like, oh, panther.
Right.
Yeah.
Water panther.
Water panther. Lynx. Well, I mean, and that's what's interesting is like, you know, if it was just the typical sea serpent thing, maybe we could have said, oh, it's sturgeon or something, but it's not. Well, and then, because, you know, you'd think that would be it, but no.
It's not.
The Great Lynx apparently primarily has been seen in Lake Huron. That's where most of the reports have come. That's where they found a lot of the rocks and the drawings and stuff. And Bessie was in Lake Erie. Well, apparently, Lake Ontario, there is also reports of a giant sea serpent. This has been happening since the 1820s. They call this one I got to see if I can pronounce this right. Gaasindiathia?
I think you nailed it. You nailed it. Good job.
Frick it. I don't care. Frick that thing. But apparently people still see sightings of it to this day. And this is where it gets weird. The reports and people that have talked about this thing have said that it could breathe fire and could fly.
Oh, see, so that sounds to me like a European dragon.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Then, in Lake Superior, there's also been reports of a dragon. Not a sea serpent, but like a sea dragon.
Right. Right. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and I believe if I'm remembering correctly, I think the Leviathan, like from the Bible, could like breathe, like it could steam up the water and stuff and make it all boily and all that stuff too. So, you know. Yeah. You know, exactly. Hot breath, apparently.
Hot breath, baby.
Freaking breath.
We like hot breath.
Brush your teeth.
I mean, breath is hot. There is like a dinosaur that can breathe fire, right? Like, what's it called? Paraphilophysis or something like that, or
Parasaurolophus? No.
What's it called? It's called something like that.
Parasaurs can breathe fire.
It's called the
Parasaurolophysis.
No, a Parasaurolophus could not blow fire.
How do you know?
There has been no...
The Parasaurolophysis is the dinosaur often cited by creation scientists, perhaps having the ability to spout fire or other noxious chemicals.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
I don't know what to tell you, Ben. Listen, I looked it up. I'm telling you what it says.
I mean...
So you're denying that dinosaurs could breathe fire?
I'm denying that dinosaur could breathe fire.
How do you know?
I don't know. But from every single like bit of data that there is, I don't think that there's anything saying they can breathe fire.
Well, it's theories they're legitimate theories that are out there for it and stuff. They think that like the horn thing on top of its head had like gas chambers and stuff, kind of like the bombardier beetle. Yeah. Like you know how like that can like shoot like fiery acid or whatever and stuff.
I mean, it's a theory and a possibility because there's so much we don't know because we don't have biological tissue, like actual tissue we can study.
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, a lot of it's just theory anyway with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we do obviously have skeletons of Parasaurolophus or Parasaurolophus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I mean, why is there like always like something that can breathe fire when it comes to dragons and mythology and stuff?
Well, I mean, I think we get it from actually seeing something. I think a lot of that comes from history, whereas like people saw something and then they wrote stories about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I'm sure there were a lot of things that could technically breathe fire, but that could be literally just like the ability to breathe fire could just be from like like a mixture of chemicals inside their body.
The Bible talks about fiery flying serpents too.
Yeah.
Fiery flying serpents. That sounds like a dragon.
Ben,
in Isaiah,
you gotta get on this, man.
In Isaiah, it talks about that.
Serpents.
Yeah.
Dragons.
So this is interesting. Apparently, the dragon of Lake Superior. The different descriptions that people have given the dragon of Lake Superior, specifically, not the one in Ontario, which I just mentioned and butchered its name. The different descriptions that people have given it, it's a dragon, a fish that looks like a lizard, a great cat, a lion, a lynx, a manitou. It was shaped like Lake Superior, a snake with a turtle head. It can cause storms. It can shift shapes. Its power lies in copper. Sacrifices to it make sturgeons rise to the top of the water, and to survive a storm, stare it in the face. But yeah, this one and the one in Lake Ontario claim that it'll snatch up children that get too close to the water.
It's a child snatcher.
It sounds like they made that one a little too OP.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But then, and this is odd, but interesting. But then, Lake Michigan, there have been reports of like a sea monster in Lake Michigan, but any reports that anybody's said is it looks like a giant sea serpent.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting.
What like all of them look like, though. Apparently,
like Bessie is a sea serpent. The Great Lakes is something interesting, but then like Lake Ontario, Lake Superior, it's some kind of dragon,
which technically is like a serpent.
Yeah, it's just a dragon versus like
I mean, dragons are basically just like big serpents.
A whale penis.
Well, I mean, a
floppy whale penis.
There's also no whale penises in the Great Lakes in general because there are no whales.
I wonder if there's ever been a whale in the Great Lakes.
Well, I don't even know. I mean, there's probably not even a whale in Loch Ness. So
no,
where the frick are they getting that from? They're probably like, oh, it's way more probable that it's a whale than a dinosaur. So they're just like, yeah, whale penis makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Apparently never been a whale in the Great Lakes.
Nope.
There's been stories of people trying to say that there was, but there's never been.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're literally like they live in saltwater. And
you just kind of hope. What if you just wonder? What if there's just that hope that
a freshwater whale,
one just shows up, one just makes its way through?
That's like people talking about freshwater sharks, which there are some sharks that can survive in freshwater.
There are.
That's fair.
But
the bull shark is freshwater, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, bull shark is the most it can survive the longest in freshwater. There's some that can, but the bull shark can consistently thrive and thrive freshwater, unlike the rest of the sharks.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, and then we can move on because we have a couple other stories that we want to talk about with these sea serpents. But this specifically was a story about the Lake Michigan sea serpent that was in 1893 that this was first seen. It was by a lighthouse keeper named H.R. Brinkerhoff. He said he was reading near the window of a second-story officer's quarters one early spring afternoon when he observed a very large black speck amid the waves of Lake Michigan. He said, "Come out and look at this thing on the lake," he told his lieutenant, W.F. Blauvelt. And he said, "What is it?" And he said, "I don't know. Come and look at it." They said they went down and tried to get an idea of what it was, and it looked like a creature poking its head up through the ice. And they could see that its head was very large, dark above and light underneath, and it said it looked a lot like an alligator head. And they said it looked like it was stuck in the ice, or a patch of the ice, and then it seemed like fighting, like to try to get out of the ice, kind of woke it up a little bit, and it broke free, and then it disappeared into the water. Then quickly came to the surface again, looked towards them for a second, then turned around and made its way out into the lake. And he said that it looked nearly 30 feet long, according to the stories.
Wow.
And that the guy was so shook by it, him and 200 of his service members who he had told the story to agreed to abstain from alcohol so that they could be sober-minded in case something like that ever happened.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's kind of fascinating. So
yeah, that is really fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the same way with like the ocean. We only have discovered what, like 6% of it or something like that, 7% of the ocean.
I think it's even smaller than that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so think about that with the ocean, and then, there's obviously possibilities that even with the Great Lakes and some of these other water bodies out there and stuff that we really just don't know what all is in there. So,
yeah.
I mean, they're still making discoveries and some stuff with Lake Michigan. Like they discovered like the carving of the mammoth in Lake Michigan just a couple years ago. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So who knows? There's a lot down there, and they're still finding shipwrecks from ships from way back when and stuff too down there. So there's a lot that we just don't know.
Discovering all the time.
Yeah, which is awesome. So cool.
100%, man. But so I think that kind of stuff is kind of fascinating because obviously, having 3 Great Lakes that surround us and are being touched by all the Great Lakes and then having a Great Lake right next to us, but. This led me to start reading about a lot more of these stories and a lot more of these, like, obviously we know of Nessie and, the Loch Ness, and stuff like that. And then there's Champ. But in the last couple years, since like 2018, there have been some really interesting breakthroughs. Apparently in Lake Champlain, the reported home of Champ, there was a sonar image that somebody took of the lake. And in that, they found 2 long serpentine images at the bottom of the lake that were long enough to be considered like somewhat interesting or like somewhat like credibility to the possibility of something living at the bottom of the lake.
Freaking serpents once again, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Her name earlier. This was in 2019 that this was published. But this lady named Katie Elizabeth. She claims to have taken a step in confirming the existence of Champ. She has an underwater image, specifically 2 marks on a sonar screen taken from a speeding boat on the lake. They said that, let me see here. I'm trying to find exactly where it was. So they were going about 45 miles an hour. They kept the sonar on just to get pictures at the bottom of the lake. And then sure enough, at the very bottom, they found 2 like serpentine like lengths, and one was about 25 feet long, the other was nearly 30 feet long, and that there were protuberances on their heads.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, those are definitely decent sized creatures or whatever and stuff down there. So like that's crazy that those showed up on the sonar thing. So just makes you wonder, what are they? Right. I mean, Champ does look like a sea serpent. So
it's true. Yeah. This lady specifically, she's been trying really hard to find Champ, and she claims to have had about 10 above water sightings, but she could never get close enough, or the light was too bad to get definitive pictures or video, which seems like always the case with these stories.
Of course.
But let me see here. They said that they asked her how she knew the image on the sonar were not sturgeon, some other less legendary fish or animal, or other underwater log or some debris. And according to her, she said that she'd been fishing the lakes for years and used sonar before, and none of what she saw fit the descriptions of other things that she's seen, because she's seen shipwrecks or debris and stuff on sonar before, and none of them looked like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
Interesting.
Man. Yeah. And then, so I thought that was kind of fascinating, but then this happened actually this year. Not this year, last year, in September of 2021. Somebody actually apparently got a sonar image of something going on in the waters of Loch Ness.
Oh.
As well. This has only happened in the last couple of years, and I thought, well, that's interesting, but apparently sonar technology has changed, because a lot of the sonar and a lot of the images that they've tried to get before of Loch Ness and of some of these lakes have only been able to do flat surfaces, like be able to tell the depth like between sea and stuff like that, but have never been able to get like 3D images of things. But apparently there was a sonar image that they took in Loch Ness, and there was a creature caught in the image that was between 3 and 4 meters, which for non-Americans, that's like what, 12
feet? Yeah.
Yeah, 9 to 12 feet, sitting at a depth of about 20 meters.
Wow.
So, and it had a heat image to it, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
So smaller than what, people kind of have thought Loch Ness would be.
True. But what's interesting is that the Plesiosaurus, which is what everybody's always thought Nessie could have potentially been, only grew to be about 11 feet long.
Right.
So if it was like,
that's true. Yeah.
But that was the 5th report in 2021 that somebody had made that they had saw Nessie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
right.
I think that's kind of interesting.
That is. I mean, and that's the thing that, we've kind of talked about a little bit in the past as well, is that it seems like that the, water and oceans and lakes and stuff are able to kind of sustain some of these larger creatures better than, than land has been able to, that, maybe with the environment changing and the atmosphere and all that type of stuff, a lot of these creatures, we still got whales in the ocean and stuff that are able to do just fine and stuff. So I think it's a lot more probable of something like this being found, like a dinosaur or something, in the ocean or something, or in a Great Lake than, on land and stuff. So. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Apparently there was a sighting this year, actually, that happened in March. The first sighting of 2022. Well, I don't know. The as we've talked about before on this, what's weird is that nobody can ever get a clear sighting of these pictures, despite having 4K cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All this stuff now. But yeah.
Like we literally have so much technology now, and nobody ever can get a photo. So it's like,
yeah, and everyone has like a camera on them at all times now with their phone and stuff. Right. So what's up with that? Come on, people. Do better.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Come on, take better. Just freaking get photos, okay? Prove it for once and for all. Come on. Oh my goodness.
Maybe the creatures have just gotten smarter too.
More that, yeah. Maybe the creatures short out the phones and people can't actually take photos.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all actually just aliens.
Everything's an alien.
Everything's an alien. That's the answer to all of these questions we have.
Even Ben.
Well, yeah, but that's
how we figure them out.
So
yeah.
Oh man. So with that being said, that is going to be it for this episode for this week. We hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you for listening and watching and all of that stuff. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. If you're listening to us on your favorite audio podcast platform, then please leave a review. We'd appreciate that a lot. And we will be back with another episode very soon. So have a great rest of your day. Bye.